tell me a little bit about your company culture and what makes it unique, Stephen.
Well, a couple of years ago, before COVID, we sat down as a company
Hmm.
and sort of all hands meeting, and I spoke first, and I said, here's why I started this company. I left a high paying job, reputable job in
Hmm.
the investment world to
Hmm.
take no salary for a long time
To be
and start
broke.
something.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
yeah, it wasn't an economic decision.
Yeah, I get it. No
And
entrepreneur goes into business as an economic decision because you're never making any money
Absolutely.
for 2 years or more, depending. Yeah.
And so I said, I want to work with good people. I want
Hmm.
to enjoy what I'm doing, and I want to put out innovative product that we're proud of. And those are the three reasons why I worked, left my company,
Hmm.
left my firm to start this. And then we broke up into small groups, and everyone talked about why they were at Street Diligence and what was important to them. And
That's
then we
great.
got back together as a group, and we said, okay, well, here, let's put together our list. And it became our core values. Our core values and our cult, which really represents our culture around transparency and communication. Good.
Hmm.
There's not, opportunity, particularly now with COVID, to really flex that. Another one was respect for the individual.
Hmm.
So it's inevitable that I'm going to have a problem with somebody else. That's not the issue. The issue is, how do I handle that? I sit
Hmm.
down like a mature individual, one on one, and we talk it out.
Hmm.
And then all of us could be somewhere else, probably a much more branded company, and we're here because we're innovating and putting out product that no one else
Right.
is putting out, and that's exciting to us. And so anyway, that's how I think about our culture. It's what our folks came together as what was important to them. And sure, we do happy hours and we do lunches and things like that, but that's entertainment. That's not culture, and
Right.
that's sort of how we think about it.
Yeah, that's really terrific. You talked about two hires that you'd made that were, and the one you should have pulled a trigger on to 86 sooner. Where was the miscultural fit there?
Um,
And how did you miss it in the interview?
yeah. Um, Personality, sort of just we're pretty, we're pretty polite to each other. We're pretty, friendly to each other. People are
Right.
outside the office are friends. Um, uh, in one case, they just weren't, they were just grumpy all the time and just not, not,
Mm.
just they just weren't happy and with us. And I don't know if it was us or them or what, but it wasn't a good fit. And so that's something that's a little hard to catch in the interview
Mm-hmm.
process. Another was ego in politics, just a lot of
Never good.
politics.
Yeah,
No, and
never good.
I actually I missed a few yellow flags in the interview process, and
Hmm.
in the end, that was a challenging one.
Well, and I'm not the one who made this up, but they say experience is a wonderful thing. It enables you to recognize your mistakes so you don't make them again.
Yeah, well, the goal is not to make the same mistake twice. We will
That's
make
right.
more mistakes for sure.
Well, I mean, everyone does, right? But the point is the
Yeah,
ones you've already made. You don't want to become the definition of insanity, right? So,
that's right.
where do you see at 40 people? Where do you see yourself investing in resources? Um, what type of resources in continued growth here, like in 2022, for example?
Yeah, we're investing in the sales and marketing function.
Yeah, as
We're
you mentioned,
growing that,
marketing. Hmm.
both,
Hmm.
yeah, both direct and
Yep.
channel
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah. Great.
Channel sales are non-existent for us today, but something that
Interesting.
we're in discussions with a number of folks,
Resellers and so on,
and
or yeah.
yeah, or partners.
Hmm.
And so that's I think a big area of focus for us. And then we're also investing in the technology. We're revamping our a lot of our systems and
Hmm.
building for scale,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is, and it's also going to provide our ability to put out new features and functions more
Yeah.
quickly, more
Yeah. Good.
effectively.
That was my next question, in fact. So, do you what's your churn or your retention rate? Either one is fine on your customers.
We are in the 90s on gross
Retention?
retention.
Fantastic. Good.
Yeah,
That's what I would want to hear.
yeah.
And do you have a customer success organization that's responsible for that?
Oh, we do. We have a client
Good.
success team.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a sales team, and then we have a sort of renewals focus, and
Right.
then we have a client success
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
team.
So you
Yeah, and
distinguish
that's new
renewals
as of
from
the last
customer
few years.
really good. So you distinguish between renewals and customer success?
They work very closely, but
Okay.
yes, two distinct functions.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's great to hear. Um, what's your day-to-day look like as a leader, Stephen? Like, what do you spend your time doing?
Um, I sort of joke that I don't really do anything anymore, in the sense that I've done every job in the company,
Mm-hmm.
and I've usually done it relatively poorly or average, and then we
Mm-hmm.
get big enough to where I can hire someone to do it better, and so I sort of work myself out of a job. These days, I spend most of my time meeting with my reports, solving problems that they're seeking sort of help with, and troubleshooting.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously I handle the board and the investor function. Um, but then I probably spend about half my time on strategy. I shouldn't say half, a quarter of my time on strategy and
Okay.
and thinking and
Mm-hmm.
researching that piece. So it's then that has changed a lot in the last year, as well. Uh, it's much less hands off than it used to be,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to. I've got some good people in senior roles, and I try to
Mm-hmm.
get out of the way and help them where I can.
Mm-hmm.
I spend a fair bit of time motivating people and touching base with them and trying to figure out the pulse of the company, because
Okay.
even at our size, if you're
Mm-hmm.
not paying attention, you can lose track of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so those are some of the things I spend my time doing.
Okay. How do you spend your time when you're not working?
Oh, with my kids and my family.
Okay.
I've got three young kids, and so between that and the business, there's not much time for anything else.
Well, right. How old are your children?
9, 7, and 5.
Yeah, well,
Two boys and a girl.
they're young, so that's great.
Yeah.
Um, how has uh, working from home and not being in an office, if at all, affected your culture? How people are feeling about themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so hard for
Gosh.
so many people.
I think that's been one of the biggest challenges in the last
Yeah,
year and a half, 2 years.
yeah,
For the first year, um, it was you're working for the first few months. Working from home was a novelty, and I think a lot
yeah.
of people welcomed it,
Mm-hmm.
and we were very productive, and we still are productive. We have been throughout, and then I think people got tired, and I think there was a little bit of keeping the culture was impossible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was really a question of how do we maintain some level of culture through a
Mm-hmm.
screen. And then we actually went back to the office 2 days a week in September, right after
Okay.
Labor Day.
Okay.
And that was great. I think it was the right amount where
Mm-hmm.
you're coming in, people were excited about coming in, but also excited to be working from home. It was a good
Mm-hmm.
hybrid model. And that's
Right.
what we intend
Right.
to continue. And
Good.
then, so for the fall and the early winter, we had a lot of, good in-person interactions, and it really helped the culture sort of get back to
Mm-hmm.
close to what it was. I wouldn't say
Mm-hmm.
quite there yet. And we had a lot of new people, a lot of folks that we had hired during during COVID that had,
They never met anybody in
had
person, right?
yeah, or even if
Yeah.
they'd met, they hadn't really worked together.
Mm-hmm.
And so that discovery process was really important. And then now we're back, remote again for the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks, and I hope it's very short term,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that that hybrid model really works for us.
Do you
I
think
don't
you'll
believe
maintain
in
the hybrid
remote.
model, Stephen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we might go up to 3 days a week at some point,
Yeah, but still,
but I don't think we'll ever get back. We'll never get
full
back to
time in the
5 days.
office. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah, and I've, and
Um,
I've, I've communicated that to our staff.
okay. Well, and listen, the worst thing anybody can do is not communicate proper expectations, right? So, somebody that really needs to be fully in the office is probably not somebody that in a hybrid model you're going to want to look at to hire moving forward, or somebody who
Yeah.
wants a 100%
Yeah.
remote. Unless you've hired somebody as a remote employee, right? So, I think it's really all about creating a proper expectation and managing it.
Yeah, I agree. And anyone we hire now, we're upfront about
Yeah,
what our model is, and
yeah.
if it doesn't work for them, that's great.
As you
They'll
and
find
anyone
something
really should be. Um,
else.
your offices are in the city, um, and that for so many companies who are paying rent on places they can't be in. I
Yeah,
have
we
to
actually
imagine it's financially hard.
we just renewed our lease, so if we wanted to get out of it, we could have. We're
Right?
happy with. I certainly didn't expect to be going back to working from home for a short period of
Hmm.
time, but I didn't mind paying the rent during COVID, and
Hmm.
we were happy to renew because we feel confident that the hybrid model
Yeah,
will maintain.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Will be good for
Fantastic.
us.
Yeah. Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.